Hey folks, it's been a while since I've done a video where I kind of talk about what Strong Roots Resources is and how it can serve people. And we're into May, it's busy season, and I figured this was as good a time as any to go over what encompasses the business these days, how I can serve people, and what you can expect if you were to hire me. So this business has grown and shifted focus several times over as I continue to dial in what it is I really want to be doing, what I'm good at doing, and like anybody, set aside the things I don't want to do as much of. This is going to sound funny from somebody who is running a consulting business, but I actually hate to tell people what to do. It kind of goes against everything that I am. I don't like ordering people around in the same way I hate being given any kind of orders or being told how I should run my life. So I want to draw that distinction. So what I've realized is that I am here to educate people and help people understand how to employ various regenerative systems to make their land better. And all of that starts from understanding what's going on with your land in the first place. So we're going to bump that up higher onto the priority that I'm gonna continue to focus this business around. So, for example, let's say you've got a 1 acre suburban yard, maybe like in one of the older neighborhoods where you have some mature trees, but you have some brush line, you have a lot of ornamental stuff. Maybe a little bit of slope, maybe you're like backed up to a wood line or something like that. Maybe you've got a creek in your backyard. In that case, I would, if you were to invite me out for a site visit, I would help you assess your property to see, number one, how its features can be used, can be worked with in terms of the natural systems to change over from maybe mostly lawn and ornamental landscaping to food production through food forest design, raised beds, small livestock if appropriate, as well as helping you understand the uses and the values of some of the species that are already there. Not everything has to go clean slate. I actually really don't like to do that. And even smaller yards can actually have quite a few beneficial species in terms of medicinal, edible value, pollinator value, wildlife habitat, cover, and that sort of thing. So we take a very broad look. We look at the big picture, and then I go back and, depending upon how involved you want me to be, provide documentation of all of these aspects. So we would look at how the wind moves across your land, how the water moves across your land, what's already there, what kind of animals visit, and is that something that needs to be addressed at all. If you've got an oak tree in your yard, I bet you got a lot of squirrels. Sometimes squirrels means they're going to root around in raised beds, so we have to kind of take all that into consideration. And then we make a plan from that point forward. So I kind of call that learning the land or understanding the land. It's good to understand why you have different kinds of ground covers growing. So it's actually very rare and completely unnatural to have just grass. Now, if you've had your yard sodded recently, then you probably have a grass. You have tall fescue or something like that. But most of us have mixed species in our yards, and it may make sense in some areas to eliminate's not usually the word, but reduce some things but encourage others. I don't consider dandelion, in my world, you're not really going to hear me talk about weeds. So we may encourage things like henbit and clover and dandelion, and actually discourage things like Bermuda grass or even in some cases fescues, depending upon what the overarching goals are. I should also back up for a second and say that everything that I help people design into their property is all based off of what their goals are. I'm not going to suggest that you do things that don't make any sense. I'm not going to suggest that you grow something that you don't want to eat. So it's always a very personalized approach. It is never a generic approach. So I do like to make that clarification. In addition to helping you understand your landscape and documenting the species that are already there, both in terms of plants and animals, I also will provide a separate document. Again, this kind of depends on what you choose in terms of the packages I have available, but I actually can put together on any size property a photo document that has a GPS tag, a photo of the plant species. Let's say we find some mullein. Mullein is a kind of a wild herb. It's used for respiratory support. It has a lot of folk uses. It's a pollinator support. Very interesting plant. There's entire Facebook groups dedicated just to mullein. Let's say we find some mullein in a portion of your yard. That's going to tell me things about the quality of the soil. That's going to tell me how in this case how dry it's going to be. It's probably going to be rocky. It's probably going to be a little bit sandy. Find a lot of mullein under conifer trees, so that may tell us that the soil is a little more acidic, but not always. And in this case, I will get a photo of the mullein, a GPS tag, and write out a link with a description about some of the uses of that plant, and that will go into a document that you can go back and reference when you need to. I can build these documents for any size property, and I can do this as a seasonal thing. So ideally, I at least visit a property 4 times in a year so that we can kind of hit stuff in every season. So in the spring, we go kind of heavy on the wild greens and those sort of things that come up. Summer, we get into all the berries. Fall, we get into the nuts and the trees. And then in the wintertime, we will talk about what kind of roots can be dug and harvested. So this is kind of an overview of what this business provides to people. I'm in, as you can imagine, a lot of gardening groups, and there are always lots and lots and lots of questions about what is this in my yard? What is this thing growing? And people use apps and books, and that's fine and that's great. Like any service, some of us pay somebody to mow, and some of us hire somebody else. In my case, you can hire me to help you with all this identification. It doesn't matter if it's things that are coming up on their own, landscaping that was already present, because I can help you ID everything, give you pointers for care and maintenance of those things if you want to keep them, or we can discuss swapping them out for something else, depending upon what your goals are. Pollinator gardens, food production, livestock, and such. So it's a pretty broad spectrum at this point of services that I offer. I did want to reiterate that I can assist this on anything from a urban lot, like my original urban homestead, which was on a 1/5 acre lot, up to 10, 20, 30, 40 acres. I've just kind of got everything, everything on the homepage of strongrootsresources.com kind of gives a breakdown of the cost. I have it more or less set up by acreage, and they are price points. I like to say that everything is negotiable. If you only want to concentrate on a certain portion of the land, then we can do that. And I also wanted to go back. Forgive me for being a little bit scattered today, but I'm getting a lot of things checked off on the list today. In addition to creating the foraging, the wild foods, useful plants document, including the photos and the documentation of that, I can also physically tag. So I can put down, what I usually do is I use metal tree tags that are imprinted on so they don't fade, and apply them to a stake and put that stake, like a wooden stake, where those plants or where those trees are. All of that is available. So I decided it was a good time of year to remind folks what this business is about, what Strong Roots Resources can help you do. If you would like to kind of keep up with what I'm doing, of course, follow the social media, Facebook and Instagram. We have a Telegram group. I will drop in a link. That is a discussion group where you can access that. And we do a live YouTube video every Friday night at 6:30 Eastern, 99% of the time, unless something just gets really sideways out here. And I am available within about a 4-hour drive of Knoxville, Tennessee. I can travel. If you have friends or neighbors who want to, if you guys want to like combine, I can combine multiple properties into a weekend or maybe like a 2-night trip. So if you have multiple people in your local community who could use help with any of these design aspects, any of this plant identification and plant education, you may reach out to me about that, and we can coordinate something like that. That's always a possibility. My consulting packages are limited. I can only do so many of these a year. So without trying to push the FOMO on you guys, if this is something what you want to do, I'm getting into my busiest time of year. So I will have a few of those that I will fill up, and then everybody else just kind of, I either have to try to do consulting via video conference, online, via phone call, that sort of thing. So it's best to reach out, strongrootsresources@gmail.com. Visit the website, strongrootsresources.com. I do a mailing list. I will announce classes. We always do foraging classes here on the farm. I can also do foraging classes by invite to other properties. I just kind of negotiate those out by travel time, how many people are attending, and that sort of thing. So that's always that is always an option. And we will be doing at least a class a month throughout the season here. We have one tomorrow, May 11th, and if you're not watching this too far in the future, we are doing one on May 26th. And by next week, I will have, I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest of the dates on the calendar and just send it out on the email list as one big, here's what we're doing and here's when we're doing it. We also have open houses quarterly here on the farm in Knoxville, Tennessee. We can show you my garden systems, my food forest systems. We are off-grid, so we can demonstrate the basics of the solar configuration and the battery systems. We graze sheep rotationally. We can answer a lot of questions about that. So if this is stuff you're interested in, I don't care how far along you are in your journey. If you're curious and looking for property, I can help you. If you've been at this for a few years and you want to improve your systems, I can help you with that as well. So thank you for taking the time to hear about what we're up to these days, and I'd be happy to assist you. So just reach out and we'll talk to you guys next time.